matchups. Brigham Young hosting Boise State. We'll break it down for you in just a second. Joe Duffy, returning guest, coming back at you here. We just went over Oklahoma, West Virginia. Make sure to check it out on the channel. Joe, let's get into it. BYU, Boise State. Boise State laying 7 on the road, total 49.5. Joe, it's always musical chairs figuring out who is the quarterback at Brigham Young. It was Zach Wilson. He got injured. Bo Hodge, who used to be the quarterback, he now plays running back, and he's injured. Jaron Hall, who last week was the first starting black quarterback I believe Brigham Young has had, as far as I can notice here, actually played pretty well. He got a concussion late in the game, so his status is uncertain. Looks more unlikely to me. But, Joe, if what's this kid's name? What's his first name? Baylor Romney is his name. He would be the new quarterback who he played last week. I think he was like 6 for 10. Wasn't anything special. If Baylor Romney starts this week, Joe, since 2010, this will be the 11th different starting quarterback for BYU. I'm not sure there's a team in the country that has been more unlucky at quarterback than BYU. It's quite amazing how poor their luck has been at that position. But you got to move on. Lavelle Edwards Stadium, Saturday night, Boise State coming to town. And look, if you're BYU, this isn't exactly a game you want to play musical chairs in quarterback. Yeah. Boise State has not only looked terrific offensively, but they've looked their normal selves defensively. They also have some quarterback questions. Hank Buckmeyer was injured last game against Hawaii. Chase Cord came in, actually played quite well. Again, these are neither of these defenses, whether it's Hawaii or BYU. This is not a vintage BYU defense. They've not been particularly good. They're giving up over 30 points per game. And you look at, really, it's been kind of a little of both. They've had trouble stopping the run. They've had trouble stopping the pass. It's really been a topsy-turvy year for them. And whether it's Buckmeyer or Cord, these guys at receiver for Brigham Young or Boise are very talented. A lot of talent there. They're just a much better football team. I have a feeling, Joe, you're going to lay the points here. You look at BYU. This is not a team that has been particularly good at home. They're 5-10 over the last 3 seasons against the number at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. And you look at as an underdog at home, 1-5 over the last 6. For Boise, never a bad thing when they travel. They've actually been much better on the road covering numbers than at home. They've covered 10 of 13 on the road. They're 2-0 this year. And overall, they've been very good laying points really wherever it is, sitting at 7-3 in their last 10 as a road favorite. This has been a good team on the road, Joe, against a number. I got to tell you, the quarterback carousel concerns me. I like Boise here.
Yeah, well, Jeff, as much as I normally do like to lay points, college football is the one sport where I do lay points. Not so fast here. You're right. Both of these teams have question marks at quarterback. But, you know, with Bachmeier, I saw him listed as doubtful today. I don't think he's going to play. You're right. Cord played very well, 12 for 18, had a career high 175 yards passing, and a quarterback rating was tremendous last game. And even Jalen Henderson came off of the bench, and he was 6 for 10. With 82 yards. Still, it's a little bit different, though, when you're playing a half-decent team on the road. You're right. Of course, this is not, a Lavelle Edwards-type quality team. This is not, one of the great BYU teams. Still, they're a half-decent team. And I have one of my, I keep saying every time I'm on with you that college football is the one sport that's a momentum sport, but we have one of the exceptions here. When you have an underdog of 5.5 or more in a 2-game or more losing streak, versus an opponent in a 4-game or more winning streak, the underdog actually does quite well, 93, 56, and 4, and that would favor BYU. It's been my experience, and it's a little tough to quantify and program it into a computer, but especially when you have these non-Power 5 teams and they're undefeated and they face a fairly tough situation where, look, they might be playing with their backup quarterback on the road against a team that's still good enough to beat them. That's usually when they start to fold a little bit more under pressure. So this is just a situation where I've seen too many of those, quote unquote, fly in the ointment teams, the non-Power 5 undefeated teams come up a little bit short. I think we've got the possibility of an upset here, and with question marks on both teams on the quarterback, I always like to say the odds makers hate uncertainty. So taking the fairly big points at home, I think you're using uncertainty to your advantage. And I think there's a possibility of an upset, but I do think that BYU is going to sneak out the cover.
Joe, I usually love you. I always agree with you, but I think you're way off here. I don't see it. Again, I get they're at home, but this is a Brigham Young team that is underachieved. It's just that simple. It might be time to move on from Kaloni Sitake. He's not been good enough there. The offense continues to, as usual, be a problem. And now you're not only going – I don't – listen, college concussions are usually taken a little bit more seriously, it seems like. I think it's a long shot that we see Hall in this game. Baylor Romney, who, by the way, is not related to Mitt Romney somehow. I looked that up, and he's not related, even though he's Mormon and so is Mitt, and it seems like a – not real common name. But either way, I like Boise. I like the momentum they have right now. And this is a Brigham Young team that I haven't been overly really impressed with them. I thought they were poor against Utah. They've lost 3 in a row. None of them have 2 of them have been against teams they should definitely beat. I don't care if it's on the road or not. One thing, though, about Boise that is concerning, the passing defense was not good last week. I don't know that BYU can test that, though. Boise needs to find out ways to force more turnovers, Joe. You look at on the season, through 6 games, they only have generated 3 turnovers and just 2 since the first game of the season. Not good. I'm going to disagree. This is probably the first video I think we've disagreed on. Joe Duffy going with Brigham Young +7 at home. I'm going to lay it here with Boise. I tried betting against Boise against Air Force. I took the Falcons in that game, and it's not a proposition I really like. I don't like being on the opposite side of Boise. As I said, they've been much better on the road than at home. And whether it's Cord or Buckmeyer, I trust the receivers. Just sometimes receivers can mask a backup quarterback. Yeah. Easy throws, you get the look at Teddy Bridgewater in the NFL. I think skill position players can make any quarterback better. We're going to disagree here. Joe, always fun to disagree. We can't agree all the time on everything. Just like I'm sure you like certain food that I don't like. It's very simple. Joe, give a plug for all shirts. I know you're killing it over there.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. And I know we disagree on music. We have different musical tastes, but maybe that'll be for another video.
Well, Joe, you're a little bit different, no offense, age-wise than me, so I get that. But listen, I will say you might be a little surprised at my eclectic music takes, but you're right. I'm sure you don't listen to gangster rap like I do. So give a plug for Outshooter Insider.
But I do love following you on Twitter either way, your sports and non-sports stuff. 48-28, Joe Duffy's picks at Offshore Insiders is in the NFL going back to preseason, 18-7 in college football. Thursday night football game of the year, 11 college football winners on Saturday. Sunday, I got a wise guy up, and as soon as I get off with you, I'm going to work more on the Sunday portfolio. And again, it's all at offshoreinsiders.com.
Let me just rephrase that. Joe said one more time, 18-7 in college. That's pretty good. I'm not good with math, but that's pretty good. NFL, 48-28. Listen, I don't bring stiffs on these channels. You don't see a lot of people. It's Donnie Wrightside, it's Ian Cameron, and it's Joe Duffy. If I didn't like Joe Duffy, didn't trust him, I wouldn't have him on. It's that simple. He's doing a great job, and I'm happy to have him on here. Great work, Joe. Keep it up. Hope you're killing it, and you seem to be doing just that. We're out of here. Thanks for watching. As always, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. We have a lot of programming coming up. I'm going to be doing a college basketball show, which I might add is the best of the business. There's nobody better than me at college basketball. I'm not afraid to say it. We got NBA coming up as well. Ski Profit will deliver that. We'll keep doing more breakdown videos and the right side of campus, and we have an NFL show that continues on Sunday. So this is going to be the new go-to sports betting content YouTube channel. Make sure you check it all out. Joe, thanks for coming on. We'll see you next week.
Jeff, and I agree with you about college basketball. They definitely got to watch it. Thank you for having me on.
You're very kind, Joe. Thank you, buddy. Talk to you next week.
Thank you, sir.
See you.